I mean, you're saved, so he is dwelling inside of you. So that alone makes you worth something. So, yeah. So I think that's part of loving ourselves too, is because, I mean, we can't love others like he loves them if we don't love ourselves like, like he loves us.
You can't love someone unless you love yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. So, okay. James Roberson said to never be moved by your successes or failures, but only be moved by the Word of God. Because ultimately, our successes and failures, what we think are successes and failures, are probably not the same standard of what God sees as successes and failures.
Probably failure more than success is a really good motivator to be a better person or image of God, because you can see, wow, that really wasn't giving glory to God.
Yeah, we need both. I mean, failures are humbling sometimes, And Banning talks about that in the book, is whenever he rented that stadium for 13,000 people and only like 5,000 came, and he was just thinking it was a failure and a waste of, like, they were going to be out so much money, and God told him, I wanted you to experience this. I wanted you to rely on me in this instance to cover the financial deficit, and to just, I mean, because they had just had a major success, or what they considered a successful conference or something like that. And then they went to whatever this was, Vegas or something, and rented that stadium and didn't pack it out. And so that to him was a failure. But God wanted him to experience that failure, is what he labeled it. That was the plan for what he learned in the instance. But what is, and they say, you always go back to, but what is God saying through this? And what does the Word say? And so that's kind of where this statement is coming in. To not let your successes or your failures just completely throw you one direction or another and decide how you feel about yourself, how you feel about what you're doing, but be moved by what God is saying and where he wants you and what the scriptures say. So, does anybody have any examples of times when you've been moved by successes or failures?
Yeah, well, it's kind of not like a great experience, but, or like a huge example, but during basketball practice one time, I was really, just one practice, I was like terrible. I couldn't do anything, and I got out in this game, just like, I had to make like a layup, and I couldn't do it. And so I was really frustrated, so I just went to the locker room, and then I came back out, and I started doing the same things, same drops, and I could make them. And I was like, what's happening? And then at the end, I heard God say, like, you can't put your identity in what you do, in how you succeed in this or in this. You have to put your identity in me, because I don't change, in the rock that never changes. So just like you can't be moved by your successes, your failures, you have to make sure this is where my identity is. This is where I'm founded on, is the Word of God and who He says I am, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
We experienced something at kids camp together that was pretty huge, because we, our mind, we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were playing a game, and we got a little bit like, well, what's going on? And then we just kind of started feeding off that energy. And then one of the other adult counselors was like, aren't we just here to have fun or something like that? And we both just kind of went,
no, we have to win.
We're like the example for these kids. And then we just started railing ourselves. I mean, like, I know I was doing it, and I could see her doing it. And so then we went to the snack thing.
So
the only thing I know to do is bounce stuff off. It's like, it's almost like talking to have it bounce back to me to, let God work on it. But anyway, we're standing there, and this man comes up. I don't even know where he came from, or really who he was. But he came up and he said, thank you for being here and doing what you're doing for the kids. And then he said that to three of us. Three, I think. Her and I, and then one other person. And I just looked at her and I said, that was God. And both of our eyes just teared up, because it was God saying, hang on. You know who you are in me. You know what you were doing. You don't have to explain to anybody. you know, it's all right. You're still doing good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, you're still, you know, and we were just like, oh, thank you for that.
Yeah.
You know, it was just one of those moments
Yeah.
where he shows up so quick, like, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were having fun.
Yeah.
You
Well,
wanted to make sure, I mean, you were losing, so you
Yeah.
wanted to make sure you were losing fairly.
Yeah.
You know?
I had that happen to me at youth camp, and that was an opportunity for me to admit my mistake because I was out of line
Yeah.
to an extent. And so I could have just been like, they need to get over it. They were wrong. Because another team was cheating, or a student on that team. And I saw it with my own eyes. And I'm like, I called the girl out on it. This is a youth. I like called her, were you there?
I was on that team.
Yes. I mean, did you see me? That was like my rage at the level that it can get to. Like you saw it. The level that it can get to, even what it has gotten to with my own husband, that you saw it. That was part of it right there. Like I think only Michael has seen that side of me. Other than that poor girl. So, I totally saw her like cheat. And so I'm like, hey, this blah, 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 you're doing this. And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that. And I'm just like, and now you're lying about it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And so her leader is standing right here. And instead of like talking to the leader or telling the person in charge of the games what's happening, I like rail against this girl. And I'm just like, no, I saw, like, you know what you were doing, and I saw you, and don't even try to, like, you know, play this, I don't know what you're talking about thing with me. And so I was just like, whatever, it's just a game. And I was like, well, just move on, and we'll beat you another way. So then later on, so then Michael comes to me during, like, a break time, and he was like, so this leader is saying that their youth is pretty shaken up over this. And I was like, well, she was cheating, you know, and I was just gonna be like, she just need to get over it, you know, it's not a big deal. And then I was like, I had a flashback, and I'm like trying to see the situation from that youth's perspective and how angry I was, and I was just like, I blew up on her over that. And so it was just a game.
Was that lady over there screaming at our kids?
Yeah, I was like, and what Michael was like, and it also would have been slightly different if it was one of our kids, because they know you, and they know where your heart actually is and stuff, and so this person has no idea who you are, and you're like freaking out on them, so they don't have any type of foundational trust with you. It's just, wow, she's the devil. So so I went to her cabin, and I know her leaders, so I was just like, hey, I need to talk to her. And I was like, I apologize. I genuinely apologize. Initially, when I started walking to her cabin, I was like, I just am doing this because that's what I have to do to make things right, so that I don't look that bad, you know. But then by the time I got over there, I was like, I was really rude. I was really out of line. So, anyways. Yeah.
Well, I think that was probably the level that I was getting to, but the person that, I mean, I was reflecting something that I have learned in my life growing up, which isn't the reality that I sit in now. You know, so it was just one of those things that it was like, no, you're automatically, you know, you're automatically doing wrong. Well, she wasn't. She had like no idea. She had misheard something, and you know, and it just kind of like steamrolled. And I think that even Sharon was being like super innocent, but I was crossing over. Yeah. You know, which is why I was like railing on her, because I'm like, I'm the oldest person here, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, but I mean, and to an extent, like that competitive attitude is good. You know, you need that in certain instances, and you need that. Do what?
In its proper sense.
Yeah, and with its boundaries, you know.
There are people that
Well,
don't
there are some teenagers that
Yeah.
I mean, come on, whether you're at youth camp or not, some kids need a big reality check, because obviously if someone's cheating, that's what they do.
Yeah.
If you gotta do those things at a
Honestly,
youth
if it
camp,
were to me,
you're
I
gonna
would
do it a lot
I
more
was
in the
like,
outside
I'm
world
good with
and
not
you
doing this
right
part,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Most
that's
of
kind
the
of
Well, and when I
I
apologized, I didn't say, "Oh, you weren't cheating," blah blah blah. I did not say that. But
I'm good now, so.
well, it was all good in that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
When God came through, you know, that man, the gentleman, you know, it was all good, and we both knew it. So it was just forgiving ourselves, and I read that in my Bible. I have a study Bible, and that was one of the things that it said in the expansion was God really wants